All right, this is my multiple sclerosis story. So I could get choked up a little at times, so it's not going to be a video. But I'm going to put up pictures, stuff, so you could like follow it. But here we go. So for me, I think the reason why I know how to beat these symptoms and I can help a lot of people is because I've learned as a young child, like I was born with this. I just know I was born with this. Like all my family could have vouched for it. Like my grandma, when she was alive, she knew. She used to pray for me. She would use the rosary, which is another topic that I think is why I stayed so healthy into my 30s. And then when she passed away, I finally had got diagnosed. And there's so many things that I learned over the years that I can help people with, as learning how to grow up with this and learning how to beat these symptoms at a young age. So I think the very first things that I would feel was like one time when I was a kid, I think it was the very, very first symptom that I felt is my right leg. It would just completely go out. And we were walking into a Warriors game. Yeah, a Warriors game at Oracle Arena when I was a little boy. And no, yeah, it was a Warriors. It was something. It was something at Oracle Arena because I know we drove to Oakland. But we were walking in and my right leg just didn't want to go. It just didn't want to work. And it actually hurt to like force it to go. And my leg was stuck. And my dad, he was really excited because, it was hard for us to get money when I was young. My parents, they worked really hard to get what they had. So my dad was like, dude, we got a bag on the line. We got to go, man. This is starting. What's up? And my mom was like, she knew, like, man, my son's in pain. Like, we should stop. We should just go home if he's gonna be hurt, And like, um, all of a sudden, I kind of like, I don't know, I don't really know what happened, but all of a sudden everything just kind of freed up, and I was like back to normal again. I was like, no, it's okay. Come on, let's go. And I know my mom was really worried, and my dad probably very worried too. But there's a lot of weird things that happen with kids, and how could you even think that there's anything wrong when all of a sudden the kid's walking fine? So he's walking fine now, right? So like, why would you even continue to bother, right? I would feel weird. Uh, I would tell my mom, there's ants on me, and she would look on my arms, and there would be nothing. So, I was just like, as a kid, I just learned to just like deal with it. I had this crazy twitch. My eyes were always twitching. In my head, my ears were always ringing, boom, 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 boom. And as a kid, it was pretty wild, and it was like, that was like the worst, like as a kid, that you would have to go through it. But there was a lot of things that I did, and my mom kept me very active. And when I used to, I was in the Screen Actors Guild. I was in the there's something called the After or something, I think, like that had to do with pictures and stuff. But I was in all of them. So I was going around San Francisco and I'd work as a kid. And when I started working and I started getting in front of the camera and doing all the things, all the things that they would ask me, I learned that all the symptoms would stop. And my mom, she was really good at keeping me busy. So she would drop me off to basketball, baseball, football, modeling. I'd sing. I would do anything, and I was good at all of it. And I was good at all of it because it was the only time I got to live as a kid where I wasn't like in serious symptoms. So, as I started to get a little older, I started to realize if I want to beat these symptoms that I have all the time, then I'm going to have to stay active. I started to understand it. And I started to get really into baseball. I loved baseball. Cincinnati Reds even looked at me. They called my mom or whatever happened. I was out drinking one night like an idiot because had a lot of friends and fun. So as a kid, as like a 16-year-old or 15 maybe, as something like that. I don't know, 16 or something. So, so my mom calls me like, get home. You have a tryout in the morning with the Cincinnati Reds. I'm like, oh my god. So I left the party. There was a girl I was supposed to like be with. I'm like, I'm out of here. Next thing I know, I look over in the bathroom. The girl's with my boy Darnell anyway. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm completely out, and I didn't care because it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. But anyways, back to the subject. So I run home and I get home. I get to bed, and for me, I don't need sleep. I don't need nothing because I go off going. So I go to the tryout, I do my best, everything happens, I go all the way to the end. The guy tells me, everybody who made it this far, you're not going to ever know who's watching you, but we're watching you. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't even care, right? Because for me, this is just like an outlet for me to feel normal. And this is the best one because you have to focus in baseball. You don't have to run. You don't have to jump. You don't have to do anything. You just have to focus. You got to watch the pitcher. And every time the ball comes out of the pitcher's hand, I would watch in center field exactly where the pitch came from his hand all the way in the outfield, and I started to get so good at watching the ball come out of my pitcher's hand, that before the batter even swung the bat, I knew where the ball was going to go if potentially he hit it to me. So when as soon as the pitcher would let go of the ball, I'm already trotting to the direction, and I would run down balls that I could hear people in the stands so far away, because these balls should be home runs. Like if they were in parks with fences, there's no way I should even be able to run that far. And I would run down and catch balls so far away from home plate that I could hear people screaming so far away. It sounded like they were screaming for some other game because I was so far away catching the ball, and they were screaming for me like, whoa, and they're like all the way. So you get the point. But anyways, so I'd be jogging all the way back with the baseball, you know what I mean, to give to my teammates. And I had this coach named Marty. Love the man, dude. My favorite coach of all time. And he would just be standing there looking at me. And he would always just have this look on his face, and he would never get it for anybody else, but he would always just walk out to the side of the field and look like, how did you do that? You know what I mean? And there's even one time, the only thing my grandpa ever remembers was one time when some kid was trying to run to third base. I threw the ball all the way over the fence and almost to the darn near to the parking lot. There's the movie about a kid who did something like that. I threw the ball exactly like that. So I had an arm, I could run, and every once in a while, I'd actually hit the ball over the fence. So for me, that was a great outlet to beat multiple sclerosis, because as I got older, I even found a friend when we started to be able to drive that was willing to go to the batting cage and bat at 9 o'clock at night till 11, 12 o'clock midnight. One night, a police officer actually approached us and said there was a call in Millbrae, California, that there was gunshots in the park. And he said, I came running here because the phone doesn't ring in Millbrae, California for anything, and gunshots in the park. He said, I came running to do my job. He said, and I got to the parking lot and I heard the gunshots and I ran. And next thing you know, in a pitch black park, there's a batting cage completely lit up, open, bright lights beaming, and there's kids with wooden bats, and they're hitting the ball so hard that it literally sounds like gunshots going off in the park. So this cop approaches us in the dark while we're in the light. Obviously we can't see anything around us, and that freaked us out all the time. But this cop walks up, and all of a sudden he puts the flashlight on his face like a scary movie, right? And he goes, hey, and we're just like, ah, we're screaming, and we're like, what the hell? And he goes, hey, you're under arrest. And we're like, why? he goes, dude, he goes, no, man. Like, he was like a cool cop. He goes, no, I got a call that there was gunshots going off in the park, and I'm so excited to get here and see two kids hitting the ball so hard. He said, I watched you in the parking lot for like 10 minutes because I didn't want to end your time. And now I come into town here to tell you, like, this is way too loud, and there's people that live up these hills that pay a lot of money to live on the top of these hills, and they are freaked out by this. And he goes, and the people who call, they come down, they talk to us, and they say they've been hearing it a lot, and that's why they came and told us. So we're going to go back and let them know that there's two kids that hit the baseball really hard, and there's a batting cage down here that is open to the public, and they're allowed to use it till 10 o'clock. We let them know that they have to be done by 10 o'clock. So for me, back to multiple sclerosis, that was a way to not have any symptoms finally at night and go to sleep. That's a best way for me to go to sleep. So if any of you have a hobby or anything out there, all you need to really do is just have your little hobby before you go to sleep. I use Madden now as I'm older because I don't run around, you know what I mean? I got a 2-year-old, my back hurts, things caught up on me. But I'm still strong enough for all the work that I've done as a kid to like keep this up and keep this going and be able to beat these things every day. So now I use John Madden football from the PlayStation before I go to sleep, and that focus on and I turn the sound off. I don't have any sound. And if I start a game and the person is making too much noise in the controller, I automatically turn it off because I need silence. So I need silence and focus. So I play the game, I focus, it gets me tired. I can fall asleep without my ears ringing and stuff like that because the things that multiple sclerosis has given me are never going to go away, regardless. But there's things that I couldn't control. As I got past this baseball stage and I got a little bit older, I could not control the fact that my eye turned off. And when that happened, it was time to actually tell the doctor about these things that I was feeling. And I don't know why I never told the doctor these things that I was feeling, because the things that I was feeling wasn't that big of a deal because I was staying active and I knew how to beat it. So that's why I think I could be very helpful to people. And even now, I'm sorry that, you hear this air in the background, but I'm emotional. And emotional and multiple sclerosis can't be cold. So if you're going to be emotional and you're going to tell somebody or talk to somebody about something that, has emotions inside, you have to literally stand and burn yourself with the heater, because you cannot be any bit of cold at all. Otherwise, you will go into tremors, which is another terrible, terrible thing with multiple sclerosis, and it's very scary. And all it is cold and emotions. So if you're going to be emotional, you need to stand by the heater. And I learned that as a kid, learning up all along. So that's why you hear this heater in the background, because I got it burning my feet right now so I don't go into tremors while I'm trying to tell this emotional story. But anyways, as I got older and the eye turned off, that's when I finally told the doctor, because that was something that I couldn't fix. I couldn't make my eye go back on. And this here, going on further, now these are the times when my grandma had passed away, these rosary prayers stopped, and I think my main protector was gone, because all of a sudden I got to the time where it could progress, and the only person that I don't think would have been able to handle knowing that I had multiple sclerosis was my grandma. So I'm actually proud to be able to hang off all the way into my 30s. 2021 is when I finally got diagnosed. You know what I mean? And what is 2024 now? And, now I've had to use medicine. And the medicine I've used is Ocrevus. And as soon as I got the Ocrevus, that right there stopped the disease completely, all the way to the point where in the beginning of the Ocrevus treatments, I don't even feel tingling anymore. I don't have to worry about anything. It's just the temperature will never change. The temperature problems will never go away. If it's too cold, you're going to get tremors. If it's too hot, you're going to get flu sick. That's just not going to stop. So you have to learn how to keep the temperature right for yourself in whatever phase of multiple sclerosis you're at. But once I got my eyes back, which the doctors told me I wouldn't, I used the book. I can't remember the doctor's name, but she came out with a book. She actually took pictures in the book of leaves and things that you could find, in the forest and whatever. Well, I live right by the Delta, and these leaves were like all in my backyard, and I have like a 6,000 square foot backyard. I was able to look all through behind my house and everything. There's a agave. I found everything that you needed to find to put in these smoothies when I found out that this was multiple sclerosis and this is what it had, and there was little things that I could find. I've literally found all the things I needed, plus the kale, the almond milks, the everything, the coconut milks. I found everything that you needed, you know what I mean, to get the swelling down in your body. And when I found out that I had multiple sclerosis and I got the steroid treatment and I went home and I started drinking these smoothies, before I even got the Ocrevus, my eye had already came back on completely. So the original steroid treatment and the Ocrevus completely turned my eye back on all the way. When my eye got turned back on all the way, I then went and started to do Ocrevus. Now the Ocrevus, what that has done is made it so that I get no flare-ups. I might have had a flare-up here and there, you know what I mean, during this Ocrevus treatments, but I don't even call the doctor and bother him, because if my ear rings a little bit or my eye twitches, like, I could care less. I've known how to beat that since I was 10 years old, so I just play a Madden game and make sure it's nice and quiet and sit next to the heater if something, bothered me inside. So there's many things that we can do. And like I say, follow my channel, like and subscribe. I'm sorry I couldn't put my face up and whatever, because, I knew there's parts that are going to be hard for me, especially when I was a kid. But I might have skipped a lot. Oh, well, we can talk about this for the rest of our lives. Have a good one.